With the man of the hour, Hall H. Tell us what the feeling was like when you walked out. I hear it's almost like a sporting event. The sound.
Well, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know how to compare it to that, but it's certainly not like walking into my local pub or I don't know, going around to a friend's house. It's extraordinary. It's completely overwhelming. If I'm honest, it's very, very humbling. I mean, that amount of and those people have waited a long time to have any energy whatsoever and not just be like crumpled bits of paper on the floor is a miracle itself. But then to get that wave of love and support and enthusiasm, it's bliss. It's amazing. But when it actually happens, I didn't know what to do with it. It's like it's a very peculiar. It's just completely surreal. It's really surreal. But I mean, I hope I had a brief moment where I got to acknowledge the fans who make that happen. I mean, that's them, and that's what makes Hall H. That's what makes that atmosphere. It's all about this incredible enthusiasm for films and for what we do and for the Marvel comic universe.
And we are here with, I think I called you last night at the Hall H panel, the man of the hour, which you are.
Very flattered by that. Very flattered by that.
I got to ask too. So we had you by Marvel like 4 years ago for Sherlock or something.
Did you?
Just as a press thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, in the press time.
And
yeah.
It was, I think, you and Steven.
Did I know then? 4 years ago.
Yeah.
There was a conversation that I had with somebody last night where they reminded me on the rooftop of Bad Robot when I was talking about Khan, then John Harrison. They said, you'd be perfect for Doctor Strange. Do you know that title? And I was like, no, I don't. Look it up. And all the journalists are like, yeah, you'd be really good for Doctor Strange. And I lazily sort of looked and thought, oh gosh, it looks a little bit like Sherlock has had a love child with Vincent Price. I'm not sure, and it's very much of its era. And then I read a bit more, and I spoke to some other people, and they went, "Yeah, you really would be quite a good fit." And then it came up, it's sort of that idea somehow sprang and snowballed. Maybe because I had dark hair as Khan, and it was quite short. I mean, it wasn't far off the sort of style of parts of Doctor Strange as we know him now. But anyway, long story short, yeah. Someone somewhere had the idea, probably mostly Kevin Feige, as with all things Marvel, and it ran and ran, even in spite of me saying I can't do it because I've already organised to do a play, and the juggernaut that is the Marvel Cinematic Universe only stops you if you're available at the time that they offer you a ride. And I said I can't renege on my promise to do this. I really want to do this, and things are in place for me to do that play, so I have to do that. I went, okay, bye. I thought, oh Christ, okay, that's it, it's gone. And it did, it went, and then it came back, and I'm so happy, so happy.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a nice journey.
So Doctor Strange, the facial hair is a very important thing. Yeah. What was the process behind,
Lots of experimentation. I mean, and there's lots of facial hair. It takes a while. I mean, the guy goes kind of personal grooming AWOL when he's trying to spend all his money and energy and time on repairing his damaged hands after the car crash. So from being very clean shaven and tiny little wisp of grey in the sideburns, not even the sideburns, he doesn't even have sideburns, just at the side wafts of hair, if that is a word that translates. And that he then has the crash and then sort of forgets to shave a bit. Obviously it's very hard for him to do that, but as I pointed out, Christine can shave him, and there are electric razors that he could sort of hold like that. But I think he's angry at everything. He can't be bothered to look after himself, and he's looking out into the world for healing that he doesn't realise actually has to come within, and all that stuff even begins with the way he looks. So he grows the wild man beard and look with the hair. So that was in 3 separate stages. Then that starts getting cut back at Carmitage and gets neater and neater and neater. And then finally he goes, what if I just... And he's got the Van Eyck, and it's cool. And that you just go through lots of tests as you do with any big film, but especially when you're originating a much loved and much cherished comic character. So comic book character, I should say. He's quite funny though. He's funnier than he is in the comics, thank God. But yeah, he is funny. We trial and error.
So touching on that point, did you, after you got the part, did you just read all the Doctor Strange comics, or you kind of were like,
No, I didn't. I mean, I read a few. There are so many beautiful versions just of origin stories, to be honest, from now and from old, and then a few, and then a few more, and then I just couldn't stop, and then I read all of the old back catalogue in those volumes that Marvel produce, and anytime I see an original copy, I'm like, shall I? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's It's an extraordinary thing. It's an extraordinary thing, and my knowledge base is terrible because I'm reading them really quickly, and at different times, and I've had so much to have to learn for Sherlock, and a lot to learn for Strange as well, actually. So yeah, I think I might have. I'm having a 2-month break before we do our press tour for this. So I'll probably settle in and finish what I've started with that. But it's great. It's one of those moments you go, yeah, man, this is where this character can go. It's fantastic.
And so, obviously, Marvel's super secret. What is it that you can tell us about Doctor Strange?
Well, he's a materialistic man who thinks he can control his fate and learns through a fatal car crash that he can't. And in the process of trying to get back his old life, he realizes, or it is revealed to him through serendipity, through getting to Kamar-Taj, that no matter how hard he tries, it can't be the same, and he needs to heal himself from within. And then this massive universe is this other dimensional reality is completely utterly revealed to him. And basically, he comes from our world. He lives in a causal reality where actions have consequences, where there's a comeuppance and a responsibility you have to take for your behavior. And oftentimes, even though he is that person, he plays God in a way he shouldn't. So it's part of the karma of his flip and his kind of journey and trajectory on this. And the amount he suffers is sort of owed him, because he treats people as trophies. Like, great, I can name a procedure after this particular patient, whereas that patient really needs my help. I don't want to, because they might die, and that's going to be that's going to be a bad thing for my record. I mean, he's the altruism, the sort of Hippocratic oath side of what he does has become very egocentric, and it's all about him. And then this huge volte-face he does through becoming a victim himself, realizing what it is to be a patient, despairing, getting incredibly depressed and angry, volatile, and losing his mind almost, and then being pushed over the brink by this introduction to the true power that's in his hands, the true possibility for healing, and his true purpose in the world, which is a selfless one, is huge. And just as he's learning that, and the martial arts and the rune casting and spells and everything else that goes on at Kamar-Taj, he's tested in the most extraordinary way and violent way and immediate way. He goes through so much psychologically and physically, which I can testify to as an actor. I mean, Kevin Feige went, I don't think we put an actor through quite as much as we're putting through. So I was like, I'll wear that badge with pride. But it was a tough shoot from that point of view. It was very, very physically demanding. Not just the getting all henched, as they call it in Wales, that kind of buffness that you need for superhero stuff, but also just day-to-day fitness and the stamina to do sometimes 14, 15-hour days with very little turnaround and very little sleep and the baby at home and all the rest of it. So it was. I knew what he meant when he said that it's true. Yeah, I did go through quite a lot, but no pain, no gain. And I mean it, because for the character, I think hopefully it'll show you can't. You have to be pretty hardened not to care about him. Mm-hmm. So he starts as somebody who has it all taken away, and then has to just rebuild himself in every conceivable way. That's kind of his journey. So
I think you mentioned earlier, I might have heard you wrong, you said there's some comedy in the movie?
There's a lot of comedy in the movie, yeah.
That just sounds like no comedy. That sounds like a deep...
Oh, it does. Yeah, but there are jokes along the way, yeah.
Okay.
He rarely loses his sense of humour. There are some dark moments where he does. He's properly depressed and angry, but there's also a lot of humour. I mean, don't forget, he's taking the audience into a world which, they're going to be cynical about, and he's cynical about the names of these things, the procedures, the rituals, and just not being trusting of it. Is this a cult he's gone to? I mean, what is this bogus bumper sticker nonsense, kind of charlatan, trad platitudinous, dime store wisdom spouting ancient one,
right,
got on everybody else in the Western world of science and medicine that's going to heal him? He's rightfully cynical about that. He's been programmed to really doubt those things. To doubt what you can't prove, to doubt what requires faith or some kind of acceptance. And, hopefully the audience will go with him on that journey. And so some of those collisions between Western and Eastern thoughts and ways are comic. They're funny.
Benedict, thank you so much for taking the time. We always love talking to you.
Thanks,
and November 4th, Doctor Strange.
November 4th, yeah, see you there.
Hey, everybody. Blake with Marvel.com, and I'm with two of my heroes. I think